Residents putting their names behind a new movement to separate Alberta from the rest of Canada.
I want out of Canada so bad that I think I'm going to move if we don't separate, because it's gotten so bad.
There's a MAGA movement to the north, though it's Make Alberta Great Again.
Your support is free, but priceless. Subscribe to Canada Scope. Here's the rewritten, YouTube-safe version in English. Alberta separatists claim they have gathered more than 300,000 signatures, possibly enough to push the province toward a referendum vote. And now the pressure is rising fast, because this is no longer just quiet talk online or small groups meeting behind closed doors. This movement is stepping into the open, and people are asking one major question: what happens if that vote actually moves forward? Some supporters say they feel deeply frustrated with Canada's political direction. One person put it bluntly: I want out of Canada so bad that I think I'm going to move if we don't separate because it's gotten so bad. That kind of emotion shows just how serious this issue has become for some Albertans. To them, this is not just politics. It feels personal. It feels like a fight over identity, money, power, and respect. There is even a slogan being used by some supporters: Make Alberta Great Again. It sounds familiar, and that is exactly why it grabs attention. But in this case, the message is focused on Alberta, with people saying they want more control over their future and less influence from federal leaders far away in Ottawa. One supporter explained it like this: we're not represented in the East. I have more in common with the people in Montana and North Dakota.
We're just going to stop and say hello to some of our volunteers. They're out canvassing. We have over 7,000 canvassers right now working in across Alberta getting signatures. Just wanted to come out and thank you guys again for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, how's it been going today?
Really good, thanks.
Nice, how are you? Yeah, that's the flag of the province of Alberta, soon to be the country of Alberta. And we're very proud of it. You know, it's a beautiful flag.
Than I do with people from Ottawa, Quebec, PEI. That statement shows the divide they feel between Alberta and the rest of Canada. Whether people agree or disagree, the anger is real, and the movement is using that frustration to grow louder. Another supporter said, the elite from the East are going to fight us tooth and nail not to do this, so we're going to win. I have no doubt in my mind. I'm very positive. I'm not standing out here in freezing weather to fail. That is the energy behind the campaign right now. People are not just signing forms, they are standing outside, knocking on doors, and pushing the message face to face. Supporters say they are building something that reflects Alberta's values and goals. For them, this is about choice and voice, and that message is spreading through volunteers across the province. Organizers say they have more than 7,000 canvassers working across Alberta, collecting signatures and speaking with residents. At one stop, volunteers were thanked for their work. The mood seemed determined, even casual at moments. Someone asked, "How's it been going today?" And the response was simple: "Really good, thanks." But behind that calm exchange is a campaign that could create major political drama in Canada. Then came the flag. One supporter pointed to Alberta's provincial flag and said, "That's the flag of the province of Alberta, soon to be the country of Alberta, and we're very proud of it." That line alone shows how far some supporters want this movement to go. To them, the flag is not just a symbol of a province anymore. It represents a possible future nation. But in Parliament, the issue is already getting heated. A member raised concerns after the Prime Minister and Justice Minister said any possible referendum would be judged under the Referendum Clarity Act. Critics argue that this gives the federal government...
And I hope that we can get to the finish line on signing that MOU. I know industry is getting a bit impatient. Albertans are getting a little bit impatient. And if we're going to move forward with that MOU, I hope it happens in the next number of days, because I think in Alberta, there does need to be a demonstration that Canada can work.
So it's one of these strange circumstances where Canada needs Alberta a lot more than Alberta needs Canada. Like, we can exist quite happily without Canada, like much happier without Canada, right? That's one of the big things that they throw out against Alberta independence. Oh, you're going to be landlocked. Well, wait a minute, boys and girls, we're landlocked now.
Power over the question and the threshold needed for a result to be accepted. The argument is simple, but explosive. Who gets to decide what counts as a clear democratic vote? Some say democracy means 50% plus one. Others argue that something as serious as separation needs a clearer and stronger mandate. And that is where the real battle begins. Here's the final rewritten piece, with subscribe to Canada Scope included. That is supposed to be the basic rule in any real democracy. The people vote, the result is counted, and the government respects the choice. But critics say the real danger begins when leaders start interfering with the democratic will of citizens. That is when trust breaks down fast, and that is why this debate is getting so intense. In Parliament, the question was direct. Will the government respect democracy? The parliamentary secretary to the Minister of Justice responded by saying the government will always protect the Constitution and the Charter. He said they would wait to see what happens in Alberta, but added that the Prime Minister has been clear and that the rules are clear. Then came the major point. There needs to be a majority, 50% plus one, and the laws around the process must be respected, but not everyone was satisfied with that answer. The member for Jonquière pushed back, saying the government had not sounded that clear before. He argued that democracy means 50% of the votes plus one, because that is the normal threshold used in elections and laws across the country. And that is where the drama gets deeper. For some, questioning that threshold feels like questioning the right of a people to choose their own future. In Quebec, that argument hits especially hard because the issue of self-determination has a long and emotional history. Now, Alberta is stepping into a similar political storm, and the whole country is watching. At the same time, Alberta leaders are talking about the need to prove that Canada can still work. There was hope that the federal government and Alberta could reach the finish line on an MOU because industry is getting impatient, and so are Albertans. The message is clear. People want action, not endless delays. Some Albertans say they are tired of the status quo. They feel ignored, underestimated, and treated like their concerns do not matter. One supporter put it in a blunt way. Canada may need Alberta more than Alberta needs Canada.
We're not represented in the East. I have more in common with the people in Montana and North Dakota than I do with people from Ottawa, Quebec, PEI. The elite from the East are going to fight us tooth and nail not to do this. So we're going to win. I have no doubt in my mind. I'm very positive. I'm not standing out here and phrasing whether to fail.
Maybe we'll build something that actually reflects Alberta's values and goals, because that's what this is about. Choice and voice.
That kind of statement is bold, but it shows how serious the frustration has become. Supporters of Alberta independence say the province has the resources, the workers, the energy industry, and the confidence to stand on its own. They argue that Alberta could survive outside Canada, and maybe even do better. Critics, of course, say separation would bring huge legal, economic, and political challenges. But the independent side is not backing down. One common criticism is that Alberta would be landlocked. But supporters answer that by saying Alberta is already landlocked now. To them, that argument does not hit the same way anymore. They believe the bigger issue is control. Control over pipelines, money, laws, resources, and the future of the province. Then the mood shifts into something almost symbolic. Songs about Alberta's freedom, truckers' Calgary, and coming home give the movement a raw emotional edge. It is not just policy talk anymore. It becomes identity. It becomes pride. It becomes a message that says Alberta wants to be heard, loud and clear. Whether people support separation or strongly oppose it, one thing is obvious. This issue is not fading away quietly. Alberta's independence debate is becoming one of the biggest political flashpoints in Canada, and every new signature, every speech, and every answer in Parliament adds more pressure. So now the question is simple but explosive. Will Canada find a way to make Alberta feel respected, or will this movement grow even louder? For more stories like this, subscribe to Canada Scope and stay tuned, because this debate is only getting started.